Well, hello everybody. This is Linda from North Central Texas, and I've decided I'm going to try my hand at some spring rolls today. Now, you can put pork in them, you can put shrimp, beef, ground beef, sliced beef, chicken, just about anything you want to mix in with your spring rolls that you want to. I'm going to put some, I've got 2 pieces of cube steak here. I didn't have hamburger or any other pieces small enough that I wanted to use, so I'm going to use these, well, I'll have to take it all out. It's still partially frozen, but what I'm going to do is just chop it up. And this is a cube steak, basically about like hamburger would be. I mean, there's so many different versions of spring rolls. Some when you don't put meat in it at all. Some have rice in them. Some have noodles in them. And guess what? I'm not going to put either one. I'm not going to put rice or noodles in my spring rolls today. Actually, the meat cuts better when it's frozen. So that's one reason I didn't mind taking it out frozen. Because I don't want big pieces in my rolls. I want everything almost cut to the same size. Even my vegetables will be julienne. My cutting board is too little, isn't it? I hope you can see what I'm doing up there. But I'm trying to cut the cubes of meat to about the same size as my chopped onions and everything else will be. Get down to the part that's not frozen. It thawed up a little bit. But I'm kind of glad it did stay frozen because it's easier to cut when it's frozen like that. Now, I am going to clean this up a little bit because I got to use it for more stuff. Get me a couple of these little bowls, containers, because I want to chop some ginger. And I'm doing this now because it's going to go in my meat mixture. Well, it doesn't really have to. You can wait and put your garlic and stuff like that in later, but... And if you don't know how to peel garlic, take your knife and scrape it. Or take a food scraper and just literally scrape it. And it will take your peeling off. Yeah, I'm going to chop up some ginger. And I'll try to keep that from clicking as much as possible. I'd rather have fresh ginger in here than to have powdered ginger. But if all you got is powdered, by all means use it. And I'm just chopping it up. In fact, you don't have to cook your ginger or any of it if you don't want to until you put them in the rolls. But I kind of like to cook the ginger and the garlic and all that other stuff in with my meat mixture. It kind of flavors the meat more. And I have cutting board will travel here. As I chop, it moves. And my ginger was frozen too, because this is ginger that I harvested out of my garden last season. And I put it in the freezer. Did y'all know you can freeze ginger? So if you harvest a lot of ginger out of your garden, just wash it off, dry it, put it in a little freezer bag or some kind of a freezer container, and put it right in your freezer. And then you can just open that carton or your baggie and take out what you need when you need it. And you don't have to rush and buy ginger. I was going to try to chop all this stuff up first. And then put it all together. But I've got so many of my viewers that have asked me, no, don't do that. They say some of these cooks that are not experienced might want to know how to chop up the vegetables. So that's why I started doing this. And as you know, I always smash my garlic because it's easier to peel it that way. Because we got to chop it anyway. I wanted to do this first because I want my meat to cool off before I put them in the with the cabbage and everything else. Because all of the vegetables that go in this, you can eat them raw. But you don't want to have raw meat in there. So we're going to fry our meat in a saucepan or saute it. And I'll have to warn you, if you're not used to ginger, if you over put ginger in your dish, it can make it hot. I can't get the little... Yeah, it will make it hot. So now I'm just chopping up my garlic. Now, you don't have to use fresh garlic if you don't want to. You can get that's already chopped in a jar. You can use garlic powder. It's just up to you. I like to use fresh ingredients if I have them. And since I have a lot of this stuff that was in my garden, then I'm going to use that. So there's my garlic. See what else we need to... Well, I don't think I'm going to put anything else in there. Except my spring onion. I went and I pulled a spring onion out of my garden. It's still got the roots on it, but I did wash it. And you can see I did sharpen my knife before I started my video. I always try to have a good sharp knife. Here's my cutting board moving on me again. Just be careful not to cut your finger, because when you just sharpen a knife, it is razor sharp. And sometimes you just touch it on your finger and it's going to cut it. So be careful with that. I got my onions running across the table. And another thing we want are meat mixture to cool down. So I'm going to put this stuff right over here. See if I can get all these garlic pieces up. They do make a mess. And if your fingers are wet, you know how they stick. We can get rid of this. Get that all cleaned up because we're going to be sauteing our y'all. I guess y'all noticed I can't talk and work at the same time. But we're going to take our chopped beef. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in the pan. You don't need too much. And we're going to put this over here because next time we use it, we're going to use it in that pan. That pan hot. Dump our beef right in there. And I'm going to take my dish pan out of there because I'm going to need this sink. Well, I don't really need the sink, but I need somewhere to put a strainer with a bowl. And I'm hoping that strainer is going to be big enough. It may not be. And I can probably put it up on the counter. I didn't really need to put it down in there anyway. So let's put our pan back. Hey, you know what they say about women? It's a woman's prerogative to change your mind. Get onions. I'm putting some onion powder on it. Garlic. Thought I heard somebody out there. I thought I had company, surprise company, but that was UPS. I'm going to add pepper. And you season to your taste. If you don't want pepper, don't put pepper. I'm going to put in my garlic. And my ginger. I'm going to wait till the end to put in my onions. Well, no, I am going to put in a few onions. What am I talking about? I've got some red onion that I'm going to put in right now with my beef. I almost forgot about that, y'all. It's easy to forget stuff. Don't need to be much. I'm just putting half of a red onion in there. Now, I hope you can see what I'm doing over here. I'm standing to the side so you can see my frying pan. And I'm probably fixing way too much mixture. But if I do, what I can do with that is stuff some cabbage leaves, or I can take the Chinese cabbage from the garden, wilt the leaf down a little bit like you would a regular cabbage leaf, and then just roll your little cabbages and make your spring rolls wrapped in a cabbage leaf. But I've got regular wraps I'm going to use here. But we have to drain this meat mixture, get all the liquid out of it we can, because the seasoning will go into the meat. And we have to let it cool. I am going to put just a little bit of soy sauce in there. And it looks like I got to open my bottle. Get over here and get a knife to open it. And again, when you put this mixture, well, I guess it's got another lid under there. They protect their soy sauce, don't they? They had it doubly sealed. And like I said, you don't have to worry about it getting too liquidy. We're going to drain this mixture before we put it in our spring rolls. And we just want our meat cooked. You don't have to brown it. Really, just get the meat cooked. And now's when I'm going to put in the rest of these onions. And we're not going to cook them too much. And in fact, I've got more tops that I had chopped from the onions that I had cut the other day. When I replanted them, I cut the tops and saved them. So we're going to put a few of those in there. But again, like I said, I'm not going to cook them too much. There, that'll do it. Now what I'm going to try to do is get my mixture here, put in this strainer. I mean, there may not be anything come out of the meat. I don't know, because it's pretty lean meat. It was not fatty to begin with. that's what we're doing with it. Yeah, and we do have a little bit coming out. So we're going to let this sit and drain. Let it sit right here. And I'm going to have to get a big bowl. Where is my big bowls? Oh, here's one. Oh, I got two of them. Only meant to get one. That's going to be our mixing bowl. I don't know where to put everything, y'all, because I don't want to block your view. We don't need the onions anymore. We'll need this later. We need our carrots, need our cabbage, and we need our red bell pepper. Any kind of bell pepper will do. I'm putting red in mine because I like the color. I've got a few leaves of spinach or cabbage, Chinese cabbage from the garden. I've also got a few mint leaves. Not many, but I do have a few mint leaves that I'm going to put in there. Now, just going to kind of roll this up so I can chop it up. And I had already pre-washed my leaves and dried them, because you want everything as dry as possible in your wrap or in your spring roll. And I need a bigger bowl to put that in. And kind of mix it up because, you know, I've got that can't even talk. See, like I told you, I can't talk and do stuff at the same time. Oh well, I'll just put my cabbage right in the same thing. But you're just going to thinly slice your cabbage. Because you want your long pieces to go in your spring rolls. Tell you, by the time I get all this together, I'm going to have quite a few rolls, aren't I? I think that's going to be enough for that. And your peppers, slice them as thin as you can possibly get them. Julienne, as they call it. I'm going to have to super glue my cutting board to my table to keep it in one spot. See if I can get another little bowl. Because now we're going to do our carrots. Just slice them in half and cut them the long way. Like I said, be careful of your and cut them as thin as you possibly can. It might take a little bit of time, but you don't want to grate them. It makes them too watery. Make sure my camera's still going. So there we've got all of that. I think I can get this out of the way right now. Bring my mixing bowl over here and let's see what we got going on here. See, we don't have a whole lot of oil, but there's probably 2 tablespoons of oil or liquid down there. I'm just going to pop the rest of it right there. It should be cool enough. I'm going to dump my cabbage and my regular cabbage and my Chinese cabbage in there. and my mint. I'm going to put my carrots in. Put my peppers in. Give that a good mix. I am going to squirt in just a little bit of lemon juice. That is optional. Like I said, you know, you can come up with your own ingredients to put in your rolls. Now I need to get me a piece of wax paper to roll my, or parchment paper. I don't want aluminum foil. Where is the, there. Get this off of here because it'll be under my wax paper if I don't. Next thing on the agenda well, we can do that after we get them rolled. But we got to get a bowl or a pie dish the size of your wraps. Because you got to have some warm water for them to soften them up to roll them. You know what? I don't think I'm going to use. I think I'm going to use my baking sheet to roll them. And then as they get done, I'm going to take them out and put them on some wax paper. And that's just so they don't stick to everything. I had to put some more warm water in my let's take the lid off of this. I don't think we're going to need it, but I am going to need to turn it on. Do need to put me some oil in here, and I'm just using the vegetable oil, Wesson oil, canola oil. You can use olive oil, anything you want to use with them. It's up to you. Not putting too much in there, but got to get it hot. And you don't want to leave it in there too long. I need some more hot water in there. Warm water is what you need. Not scalding hot. And I'm just putting a little bit in this one because the edges are kind of messed up. The ends of it, the next ones I'll be able to roll better. And they will stick, so you got to be careful. Some people say it's best to freeze these and then use them. But see, some of these are broken. They're broken already. Oh, I'm making a mess, y'all. Get in there. Turn that down a little bit. I just pick them up and they break. So you got to get them in that water. They're supposed to be rolled tightly, but I'm getting them as tight as I can, having to do this all at the same time. Turn it back up a little. It probably even takes something bigger than a pie pan, or a pie dish, but that's about the biggest thing I had to put it in. Woo, those things are popping. I take one just good heaping spoonful in there. Oh, that one didn't roll right. Isn't this fun, y'all? There's no telling what I'm going to come up with next to fix. And I don't know if you see, but I'm turning the wrap side down. Come on, get turned over. They will stick to one another if you're not careful. Well, I can't get it flipped over. Come on, you little... Oh my goodness. Yeah, but be careful that you don't get them too close together when they're frying, because if they're not browned all the way around, they'll stick. They will stick to one another. And I've already busted one open trying to turn it. The best way is to deep fry them, and that's what I should have done. I should have used my deep fryer, and I didn't. Or use my pot with the basket in it that I could deep fry them in. Ooh, it's not wet enough. Now you can bake these as well. But again, you can't let them touch one another when they're baking, because they will stick together. You can tell I'm not an expert at this. Now, how much you put in a roll is going to determine on what size of these roll thin wrappers you have. forks. I'm about to burn them. I want them brown, but I don't want to burn them. Hot oil on my finger. Well, I haven't learned the art of flipping these. I could probably do better with a fork. And I may just get a fork. I'm more used to flipping stuff with forks than I am with these other gizmos. And see, that works better. For me, anyway. See if we can get another one in there, and then I'll start taking some out. If you have a deep fryer, go ahead and deep fry them if you can. I figured I could get away with doing it this way. You have to be careful with them because if you poke them in the sides, then they're going to bust open. I need to get a little bit of more hot water in there. I've been using it all. And the best way to do it is to roll it away from you. But you can make these ahead of time and freeze them. But you have to put them on wax paper so they don't stick. And this is before you cook them, but you can wrap them. Put them on a piece of wax paper on a flat sheet. Put them in your freezer and freeze them. And then you can take them off of that sheet and put them in a baggie or anything else to store, to keep them frozen until you get ready to cook them. And then you just take them out of the freezer and throw them right in the grease and fry them. You don't have to thaw them up or anything. But take them and meet the center in the center with your wrapper. Pull up from the behind. And roll. And mine are not perfect. They're far from being perfect. They don't want to cooperate with me, y'all. See, I can turn them so much easier with my fork. And the purpose of draining the liquid out of your mixture is because it'll make your spring rolls soggy if you have too much liquid in there. But see how much better these would have fried if I'd have put them in my deep fryer? Or if I'd have just deep fried them. Or like I said, you can bake them in an oven at 350 until they're kind of browned. It's totally up to you. I think I can get one more. And that one's a little bit bigger than some of them, but that's okay. Trying to get these back in their container without getting them wet. Man, they don't make your package quite big enough. My goodness. I guess they do that because they don't want them to move around and break. But hey, man, they gotta... give you room down in there to put them in there to close them up. Maybe I'll go down further that way. Just barely. Well, I'll deal with that later. get this out of the way. I wanted to bring the ones I've got done back over here so you can see them. They're not the best in the world, but they'll do. Yeah, see, I can do better with a fork. If I was smart, I would have rolled them all, put them on wax paper so they wouldn't stick, and then fried them all. But I didn't do that, so. I tell you what, they're going to be good eating regardless of whether any of them broke open or not. You see, you put them on wax paper, they're not going to stick even after they're, you put them on there to cool. That one still needs to get browned on that side. We having fun yet? So let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's not bad. That'll be my dinner. And I'll have something to eat tomorrow. And it's healthy. It's all vegetables basically and a little bit of meat. All vegetables and a little bit of meat. I say I got a fryer. I got a pot, a little deep pot that's only about that big around. And I've got a basket that fits down in it. And it makes the perfect little fryer for small items. Something like this. And that one's busting open. It's busting open on both sides. I made it too fat, I guess. Go ahead and let it cook some on the back side. That one got a little bit of brown. But hey, they are going to be good eating regardless of how brown they got. And you can make a peanut sauce to go with them if you want. I'm not going to. I've got a honey mustard dipping sauce that I'm going to use. And I'm going to put some in a little container. And like I said, you can make your own if you want. Trying to get that side kind of brown. I'm going to put a little bit of horseradish in it because I love horseradish. Where's my horseradish? Here it is. You know, it don't take much horseradish because that stuff is pretty potent. Try it. Yep. Well, I may put just a little bit more of this in there, the honey mustard sauce. Want it up on its side. That's the thing about deep frying them. If you deep fry them, then they're going to come out basically evenly cooked all the way around. Ooh, put that there. It's a little bit hot. Go ahead and unplug that. And I'm going to try to find me a cool one. And I should have left one out instead of putting them all on the bottom. As you know, the first ones I cooked ended up on the bottom. See if I can get a plate. I'm very disorganized, y'all. I apologize. I do apologize. Ooh, those are hot. Got a couple from the first I took out. I'll let the rest of them cool off. But here you go, y'all. There's my homemade spring rolls, and you know, they're not browned correctly because I was rolling and frying at the same time, and I should have rolled them all. So that might be a tip for you if you're going to make these. Go ahead and get your spring rolls rolled. Get them all made. Put them out on wax paper so they don't stick, and then you can fry them all at one time. But I got to take a bite. That is, if I can. Dip it in there. Y'all take a bite. Crunchy. All that goodness inside is so good. The outside is crunchy. Even though I browned it a little bit too much. It's still good. Oh my God, it's good. I'll make you some spring rolls. Like I said, these would have turned out probably better if I'd have deep fried them instead of frying them in a pan. Or even put them on parchment paper on a baking sheet. Bake them at 350 for maybe 20 minutes or whatever time it takes them to start getting a little brown and crispy on the outside. You can, you know, test them. And they would have turned out a lot, they would have looked a lot better than mine. But I tell you what, they don't taste any better than mine. Get some more of that honey mustard and horseradish sauce on here. Y'all, I'm in heaven. I love spring rolls. I mean, that makes a meal for me, right there. Can't talk with my mouth full. But y'all, try making your own spring rolls. Like I said, don't be stupid like me and don't fry them as you make them. Just make them, put them out on wax paper so they don't stick. Don't let them touch. because that stuff is like glue. They will stick together and you'll never get them apart. But spread them out on wax paper so they don't stick to anything on the bottom. Get them all made and then take them and fry them. So you can tend to them a lot better than I did. You know, I was letting mine get too brown. But like I said, they're not burnt. And they're going to be good. They are good, just like they are. So with that, I'm going to bid you a good day. And I'm going to sit down here and finish eating my dinner. Because this is my dinner tonight. Y'all have a blessed day. And I will see you on my next one. Bye now.